Fallon Taylor.
Little lady with a great challenge in front of her. This is Flo.
BABYFLO. She wins the world championship. And the winner's circle for that cowgirl.
In the victory lap, Fallon Taylor will win.
She's riding a new horse, a young horse, out of her champion Flo.
She has absolutely been unstoppable.
What's up, Flomies? Welcome to the barn. It's been a long time since we've vlogged in here because we've been around the world. So we're here in the barn because we are updating our brands. A lot of questions that a lot of people have when you brand your horses. Number one thing is, does it hurt them? And number two is, why would you do such a thing? So our brand is not a character brand, meaning it's a symbol. And so in Texas, that's more of just a pretty thing than it is actually useful for brand inspection going through state to state. So we're not a brand state, and a lot of states do have brand inspectors where you're coming in and out of that state. If you come from a brand state, you have to have a brand inspection. It's something that's been around since forever to make sure people aren't stealing horses, etc. But we don't come from a brand state, meaning that I can use a symbol brand while I can't register it. It is a theft deterrent. People are going to see this brand, they're going to know. Now, since I started branding my horses about 15 years ago, a lot of people have copied very similar brand. This is my brand. It's copper, and that's what she looks like. The cool thing about branding is that, of course, it is a theft deterrent, and we do microchip a lot of horses here. But it's something that can kind of show where the horse came from, and no matter how many hands it goes through, you know where it originated from. So we brand the horses that were raised here, and a few very special ones that'll be sold with the brand. So it's very special to get the brand here at the ranch. And now a lot of places use it to identify what year the horse was born. So if you see brands by the tail, you'll see like 04 or 12 or 20. That is to signify like maybe what stallion that horse is by or what year it was born. So you see a lot of those by the tail brands. Now we brand on the main side because that's the side that we like to take pictures from, and we like the brand to be there to be showcased on the same side. So if you see our horses with a brand on the opposite side of their mane, it just means that as they grew older, their mane switched sides or whatever that day. Flobot's mane changes direction every other day, and so did BABYFLO's, which is really weird. We brand with dry ice. I used to have a liquid nitrogen tank, but it just like was really hard to keep up with, and I'd have to get it refilled every single month, even though I only brand like once a year. I followed someone else's technique. It didn't work. So the brands on Hush Money and Florari and a lot of those just didn't come out. Plus, Shortcake is going to get a brand. Now, Buckstitch is getting a new home, which is such hot tea because I'm only planning on selling 3 horses this year. This is going to be my first one this year, or is this my second one?
Second horse to sell?
Yeah, this year.
I don't know. Who else sold?
I feel like this is my first one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have the 3 picked out that I'm going to sell, but this is my first one that's actually leaving. So he's leaving tomorrow with a very special member of the Horse Bosses group. He's incredible. I know he's super talented, and he's going to a super talented home, and I'm really, really extra excited about that. So let me show you how we do things. So before we get started, I have to make sure that my mix is right. So I picked up 10 pounds of dry ice, and then I picked up 91% alcohol. I will mix those two. Never try this at home unless you're supervised, and make sure to understand that dry ice, it burns like fire, so don't put your hands near it. But definitely don't try this unsupervised without some proper help, because there are amazing branding artists that travel that can come to you to brand your horses. I've done this myself for a very long time, again, for like 15 years, so make sure to use caution. Now, let me address the does it hurt? The reason that I do freeze branding and not hot branding is 2 reasons. One, it's painless, or as close to painless as you can possibly be. For the horse, it's just killing the color of the cell at the very top level. So that's how you see the brand. That's also why when you see me use this, the brand is gonna go away for like 4 weeks. So we're only gonna be able to see it like right when I brand and I release the brand. You'll be able to see it, and it'll get really puffy, and then it'll go away, and you will only see the square that I shaved. But also, when it gets to wintertime, typically these brands will, like if it's a hot brand, it's a lot harder to see because the long hair will grow over it. It looks more like a scar being covered, a lot less recognizable than white hair that's going to stay there all year round, regardless of how much hair coat that your horse grows. So let's get after it. I went and got dry ice and alcohol. So like I say that we're not like cowgirls, but this is kind of cowgirl stuff. Like that we do this ourselves. I think a lot of people get it done. And then you be careful not to breathe this in as you're doing it. Now I'm gonna put my iron in. It needs to be very, very, very cold. And then of course I'm gonna pour this and keep myself far away from it. And you need to make sure that it's over your iron. Also, they have 70% alcohol and 91% alcohol, and you wanna get the 91%. This is how you see like the fog machines work. It's kind of the same way. Now I know that this one container of alcohol is not gonna cover that brand, so I'm gonna put a couple more just to make sure that the brand is fully covered. So we're gonna do this before we clip our square. Also super important that the clippers you use be surgical. So like really, really, really close shave, almost like a razor blade. So that's super important. So the big thing when planning where to put my brand is that this horse is gonna be, you know, there's a lot of muscles that run in there, and he like relaxes his legs so you can really see. But there's a place that's pretty like square right here where you're not gonna have this big muscle running through and this big muscle running through. There's kind of a square just like right there that you can visually see. A lot harder on a roan horse. But I'm gonna use a brush to just be my guide. It's about how wide that I want my square. So we'll just get started, make sure that he's cool with it. I am gonna go against the grain. I need the closest shave in the world. But to start, I'm just gonna get myself a square. Also got these clippers off Amazon. If you look for barbershop clippers, they're the best ones, and you need to look for balding clippers. So there's the top end. You can see I got a little nick out of the way. Thank goodness he's roan, because you won't be able to see it nearly as much. They're gonna wear this square for a good 6 or 8 weeks, so you know, don't be super sloppy about it. The reason I'm doing it from multiple directions, and it may be driving some people that are very particular nuts, is because there's gonna be little hairs because of the way the muscle grows. There's gonna be little hairs coming from every single direction, so there's no way to really get it as much as you possibly need without being super, super thorough. See this big chunk of hair in the middle? I can't get that from just every single direction. Before you get started, it's also super smart to check your brand size and make sure that your brand is gonna fit within there. I forgot to do that because I know exactly like how to eyeball my brand. So you guys make sure if you got a new brand. Also, you can order your brand online. Just Google how to order your freeze brand. Takes companies like 4 to 6 weeks to create your brand. Highly recommend not a brand with a lot of intricate detail, because then it'll come out less and less clear. But this brand has done really, really good for me as far as ease of making sure that it looks right from far away and looking good on different colored horses. Light horses and dark horses, you've got a brand for different amounts of time. And that, you just give it a quick Google. You can find all of that info also. So you want it just as close to the skin, basically shaved as you can possibly get. It's never a bad idea to push on your horse with a few pounds of pressure and just have them get used to you pushing on them. Because this isn't a painful process. Just having him tolerate me pushing on him is super important. And just having him not be scared by a little pressure back here. And then I can gauge how this is gonna go. We're gonna back him into the corner of a stall to be safe. I used to do this in stocks, and that's a good way to break your arm. So depending on where your stocks are located and where the bars are located, like, don't really recommend doing them in vet stocks unless you have the bars at just the right height where you won't lose an arm. So now the other thing we need handy is another bottle of alcohol, that 90%. We're gonna pour it right on top of that, but the reason we're gonna wait is because we're gonna wait for our other helping hand to come in here. They're gonna hold this horse while I brand in the corner of the stall, and while we are right before we're ready to pull our brand out of the ice, I'm gonna pour rubbing alcohol, soak that spot, make sure that it's completely soaked, and within seconds get my brand onto that spot, because that's gonna be the conductor for all of this cold to get in there and kill those cells at the surface level to make our brand white. Right there. Yeah, there. Yeah, good hugs. No. Oh, the horsey. Yeah. Okay, Slick Nick is gonna get the brand. This is a really big deal. Otro lado. See. Okay, he's gonna get the brand. Hey, sweet boy. Yes, it's gonna be so pretty. Este caballo es muy simpático. Marco es perfecto. Yeah. Okay, so that was fun slash, I used to do all my own collecting of my own stallion too when Chuck Taylor was around, and that's not super fun. I would even wear a helmet to do it. So highly don't recommend this. Get a specialist in your area to do it, because they do a fantastic job. They don't charge a bunch. There's people that do it, like some vets do it at your vet clinic. But I just thought I would show you how we do it here. Like, this ain't no Yellowstone. However, we do it ourselves because we do have 40 head of horses, so that really adds up. You guys, that's it for today. I hope that you love this vlog behind the scenes, not actually at a rodeo. We're gonna go do some other really ranchy stuff. Yeah, if you wanna make sure that you're the first person to see the next video, make sure to subscribe, ding that little notification bell, because we're coming in hot with so much fun, amazing stuff. As always, don't forget to count your blessings, drink your protein, and say thank you to Jesus. See you next time.